Now let's move on to our next panelist. Let me introduce you to María Gabriela Sarmiento. María Gabriela is a Venezuelan lawyer who graduated from Universidad Central de Venezuela, also has a specialization in international business law from the Bourgogne University in France. María Gabriela is currently a doctoral student in financial regulations, international economic crimes, and restitution of stolen assets at Universidad de Zaragoza in Spain. She's a co-founder of the nonprofit organization Save My Identity, where she is currently the president and coordinator of the Department of Legal Affairs. Good afternoon to you in Switzerland. María Gabriela, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Jose Rafael. I will start the presentation, and I would like that you confirm that you're having a look to it. Yeah?
Yes, I can see it right now.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Ligia Bolivar for her recent published work on the impact that the absence of consular services is having on Venezuelans abroad who are deprived of accessing fundamental human rights due to the lack of a valid identification. I also wish to thank Ms. Bolivar for inviting Save My Identity to co-organize today's event together with Hearts in Venezuela and Pasaportes Venezolanos Exterior and the Center of Human Rights of the UCAB. I will talk about Save My Identity petition because you have already heard what are the problems we are facing since a long time. I don't remember now if we said that this started in 2014 or in 2007 or in 2018, but since last year, a group in Pasaportes Venezolanos Exterior decided to publish a petition on change.org that was addressed to Venezuelan authorities, but also to the international community, not only to our receiving countries, but also to international organizations and regional organizations. So I will tell you what is the content of the petition and what has been taken care of, what it has been taken care of partially, and what is still pending. So since between July 2020 and today, June the 3rd, we have 43,580 supporters, but little has been done to improve the situation. So the petition contains 19 requests addressed to Venezuelan authorities, which are the National Assembly or our parliament, the SAEME, which is the Venezuelan authority who is in charge of the expedition of our passports, but it is also in charge in general of our identity, of our documents in general. It's also addressed to the Foreign Relations Ministry, the Foreign Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and to the IOM, the UNHCR, the European Parliament, the OAS, and the Commission of Inter-American Human Rights. First of all, in these 10 months, as I told you, we have these 53,000 supporters, but we have also raised a bit of a statistics to present, to submit physically this petition to the different organizations. We mainly requested to seize the violation of the Venezuelans' human rights and to an identity, of course, and freedom of movement. But that was just the main title. And what we have seen since then is that in March 2021, there was a new regulation that was partially modifying a regulation from 1975 on the identification law. And there are two new purposes, which we found sort of interesting, because the purposes are to guarantee the right to an identity and transparency in the process of issuance of passports, and to ensure the effective exercise of freedom of movement. So this is in the new regulation, March 2021, that was issued, as I said, in 2 months ago. So at least there is some sort of appealing or some sort of interest, no, in starting with the right principles. The point is that this has not been really enacted. I mean, we haven't seen really an enforcement of this regulation, but it just started, and the Venezuelan authority, the SAIME, they said that they will start implementing this new regulation as from mid-April 2021. So it has been a month and a half, and we know that there is COVID and there are measures, and we have flexible weeks and weeks where Venezuelan public authorities do not work, or anybody. So, okay, let's give it a time. Now, apart from a general request, we have the 19 requests that we have mentioned before. It's true that according to Article 2 of the new regulation of the ID law, the purpose has been, let's say, taking into consideration what was our main goal. But now, when we talk about that we have requested the SAIME also to apply its Article 5 of the identification law that says that establishes that the state shall guarantee the incorporation of technologies that allow the development of secure, efficient, and coordinated identification systems with the organs of the public power. The SAIME shall oversee the maintenance and permanent and progressive updating of the identification system with the purpose of achieving a system of advanced technology which facilitates access to public services, the exchange of information, and support to the functions of the organs of the state. And in this sense, we've requested the change of the current electronic system with a safe and reliable access and without interruptions in the process of ordering any services, and with no more unjustified cancellations of requests services, with also a safe and certified and fast and reliable online payment process, which should include a refund mechanism for cases in which the system has charged fees more than once. I mean, there is not even an after service or after payment services or something like that. There is nobody to contact when we get problems on this platform where we request such passport extensions and passport renewals. So all in all, the law has been existing since before 2014, but has not been enacted. And well, with this partial reform from March 2021, we don't see how the system can be improved, but well, at least this is what we expect. We expect that our identity is treated on a safe manner, and that is not manipulated by anybody, and that we as Venezuelans are not boycotted on our identity. And especially, we don't want any more corruption in the country, just to issue some identification document, which is the one that makes us access other fundamental human rights. We also requested the SAIME to enable this online platform or system to update the process status in real time, because that was one of the problems. Once you make your request, then you're going to spend a year just waiting that the status changes from one status to the other. It makes no sense. And after 1 year, you can get the whole process lost because for some strange platform reason. We asked the SAIME to streamline the process of obtaining passports and extensions thereof, and restore consulates the power to issue national travel or temporary identification documents and to extend the validity of the expired passports. I know perfectly that it has been said that there are no consulates and that they cannot provide any service and so forth. But at least in those countries where still there is a Venezuelan consulate, the consulate should be granted. I mean, in the law, if you read the text of the identification law, it says that the consulates are like support the activity or the SAIME in general. I mean, they help providing these passports, issuing these passports and IDs. So why not just to do it? At least in those consulates that still exist. We have also requested the issuance of passport extension, which are valid for more than 2 years, and the renewal of passport for a period which is superior of 5 years. I mean, at least 10 years, like in most of the countries, unlike our national ID, which is issued for 10 years. And yes, finally, there is something that has been taken care of legally in the regulation of March 2021. It has been taken care of, and now, yes, the passports of adults can be issued for 10 years, and but still, and for logical reasons, the passports of minors from 0 to 3 years old, well, they are issued for 3 years with no possible extension. Then you need to issue a new passport because it's an issue of taking a new picture, no, of these toddlers. And the passport of minors between the age of 4 and 17 is issued for well, a period of 5 years. Okay, but something has been taken care of, and but still we were really preoccupied when we read that one requires a valid national ID to renew the passport or to request an extension. I mean, we don't have any more national IDs which are valid. I mean, we might be 6.5 million Venezuelans abroad, and since already quite a long time, and we cannot even process a request from abroad to get these IDs. The consulates we have contacted, they said, well, that existed already in the previous regulation, but it has never been asked for. So, okay, we can say on the good faith of the civil servant, we will rely to request a new passport without the valid national identification. On another topic, we've requested the Venezuelan authorities to seek rapid solutions to solve the problems related to the passports of Venezuelans abroad, considering among the possible solutions that Venezuelan consulates should be given necessary hardware and software and material for the issuance of this national ID, new passports and extensions, especially the national ID for kids who are reaching the 9th year old. That year is basic in law in Venezuela, because as from the age of 9, kids are legally requested to have this ID to renew a passport or to request for a passport, and abroad we cannot ask for that. So these are problems that have to be solved, but there is, at least we haven't seen any improvement on that either. On other topics, we have requested the opening of an investigation, and last year in July 2020, we were invited to a session at the parliament, at the Venezuelan parliament, to talk about our proposal on a new identification system based on blockchain technology, but also to request the opening of an audit and also an investigation on all the companies that have been providing or that have been managing that online payment in the SAIME platform. Why? Well, because thousands of Venezuelans have paid more than once the service that has never been received anyways, and there is no refund, there is no possibility whatsoever to claim the problem and to say, hey, well, I should be reimbursed. And so we asked to ourselves, who keeps the money? Is it SAIME? Is it our Venezuelan authority? Or is it these private companies which are all over Latin America and the US, even violating economic sanctions, who are dealing with this online payment in the platform of SAIME. So that has not been taken care of, but at least we were heard at the Venezuelan parliament on this topic. So the last part are requests that were made not to Venezuelan authorities, but to the international community. And the international community and understood as the international organizations, regional organizations, depending on where we live, and the migration authorities of our residing countries. And we were requesting, okay, we need, I mean, we need some sort of support. I mean, international protection. I mean, that is at least subsidiary international protection we should receive when we fall into this vulnerable situation where we find ourselves even living for 10 years or 20 years abroad, but with one nationality, the Venezuelan. We fall into this problem of not having not even an identity to identify ourselves or to request services as the ones that have been mentioned by the previous speakers. So what did we say? Okay, maybe you accept that decree of the interim presidency of May 2019 that said, okay, the countries that recognize this interim presidency should also accept that the expired passports have been extended, automatically extended for 5 years as from the date of the expiration. But of course, I mean, if you don't even have a legal gazette, official bulletin where you can find that decree of the interim presidency, and that you can, I don't know, ask for apostille, or you know, to have something in hand which looks official, to go to the migration authorities and say, hey, look, I have this from my interim president. I mean, it's a joke. You cannot just print that paper from the internet and say that this is official and that this is from the interim presidency and that that should be accepted. I mean, there should be some sticker in the passport or something. So since we don't have any of that, we request the countries, the hosting countries, to accept our passport just as they are. Expired. I mean, there are enough reports online in several languages explaining what the problem is. I mean, we have, I don't want to talk about failing states, but we have a state that cannot provide any more public services since a long time. And this alters the public order. And when the public order is altered, and we can suffer a prejudice because of this, we are subjects of international law, which require international protection, subsidiary international protection. And what I would say, just to finish, is that we would like to submit a proposal to the IOM, to the UNHCR, even to ICAO, to make 2 or 3 optional optional IDs on how to do that, and on how could they endorse or support the Venezuelans, which are more than 6 million abroad, almost the size of the number of inhabitants in Switzerland or Austria, and this should be taken care of to comply with the objective of the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration. And objective number 4 says clearly, ensure that all migrants have proof of legal identity and adequate documentation. I stop here telling you it's true. The path is long, and we need, of course, an identity to cross that path. But there is, let's say that there is hope, and that we will have at least partial support or even recommendations from this international organization. Thank you very much for your attention.